I've just got a book out here in America. It's only £6.50. I've got some copies. Do you want any? This is a poem from it. This is the darkest poem that's in there. It's kind of related to the title of it, which is 2 full stops from gravity. My trails as Jesus Mark II. I had a schizophrenic breakdown in 2003. Started hearing different voices talking to me. They were not real. It was not because of drink. I was not drinking much. Ended up thinking I was dead, or in heaven or purgatory. Over a 2-week period, lost any sense of reality, hardly ate or slept. Had to get out, went to Tynemouth Beach on the metro. Don't know why, hardly ever go there. Overhead, a helicopter was hovering, like in a film noir. Written in big letters on the sand were the words, "Hello, Rich." Next to it, someone had drawn a big key. My nickname at school had been Aki, and while studying for a fine art degree, I'd done a huge piece with many replica resin keys. Seeing my name in the key made me flip, and still does, thinking about it. It was and will forever be inexplicable. Was it a message from my favourite brother, Mark, who died in 2000 from throat cancer, aged only 50? He used to call me Rich, or a message from Cocker Spaniel spot backwards. First took 56 paracetamol, lay down on the bed, ended up puking in the toilet the whole evening. Things got worse. Thought the voices were going to hurt my family. So I threw myself off my balcony, 4 flights up from Byker Wall. Thought it would stop the voices hurting my family. Somehow landed with my fingers on the hard concrete. The digits popped out of my fingers and broke my leg. The pain is indescribable. Luckily, it did not land on anyone. A kind man called an ambulance. Although I managed to ignore it most of the time. In the back of my mind, I wonder if I might be Jesus Mark II. And my belief in God is greater, but I think she has long legs and a soft, husky voice. Just call me Birdman, I'm kind of lucky. I can see why people use the lift now.
I wasn't going to do anything, but then Annie was talking about how her pet made her late, and I'm always late because of my house rabbit is a dick. And she's fine most of the time unless I'm in a rush, and then she ends up random places. Like I found her in the sink the other day. I don't know how she got in the sink, but she was there. So this is a true story. I'm actually a superhero, but my power is just really, really wank. So this is a true story about me. If you were a superhero, would you want to fly? To lift up very heavy things and help the passers-by? It would be nice to do all this, be brave at any cost, but all my powers let me do is be late and get lost. I warn it light is flashing, I get ready to rate this is very close to dashing, but I know we'll be late. And averting the apocalypse would really be quite cool, but I'd take a wrong left turn and arrive at City Hall. I really am a superhero, it's not I can't be tossed, but the powers I've been cursed with are be late and get lost. Thanks.
This poem was inspired by a Facebook post from none other our hostess, Jenny Pascoe. It appeared on my newsfeed last November. It read something like this: sometimes the only option in life is to have a full-blown existential crisis or a pasty. So I got to thinking, what if it wasn't Jenny that was having the crisis? What if it was the pasty that was having the existential crisis? I bake, therefore I am. Hot from the oven, my life is but a sham. I've come to think and doubt my existence. This idea lingers large in its awful persistence. I sit amongst the sausage rolls. My life is empty, full of holes. I muse and ponder, questioning why, jammed in next to a corned beef pie. It grunts and growls in a voice so growling, grating. Would your mind not musing and pontificating? Accept your fate, life can be shitty. Served on a plate, we're just sitting pretty. So get out of town, just go if you please. There's no room here for your onion and cheese. I shoot him a gaze, a look so damn nasty, I hope he'll be fazed by this gloomy cheese pasty. And then it hits me, a train of thought strong. We realise the error I've made all along. Rejoicing in joy, seeing meaning to life, I celebrated my existence, then was eaten alive.
Hello again. You know that funny man before? Right, well I'm not paying him, okay?
Looks like you.
He's better looking than me, man. Right now, some of you remember that before I did comedy I did very, very serious poetry. I haven't done any, well, I don't know, 3 years or something. But if I can just ask for your indulgence just for a minute. I'm a recovering compulsive gambler, which obviously affects your life and everyone who's around you. It was 2 years on Tuesday since I last had a bet. Please don't. And this is the only poem I can remember from when I used to do them, but it sort of describes what you go through, okay? You know that very limit to which your emotions are equipped? I went and pushed it further, so all before was then eclipsed. I chased it like the dragon, and I begged it please desist, for self-harming with adrenaline, a vice I can't resist. You know the need for order that steers you through your days. I pawned it to fund the chaos that drives your feral ways. I shiver with its intensity, and I shudder in its wake, as all my deeds of goodness are ruined by the next mistake. You know it's time for quitting when the savage force within betrays you more than saves you in situations grim. The tangle and the torture, the riot, not the calm, as I feel to this affliction, this adrenaline self-harm.
I'm Ed. He has a story for you. It's lyrics as well, but it's quite poetic, so I'm going to do it. Most of it's in my memory, but I've got my phone referred to just in case. Right. He has a little story. It's all about me trip. It started down in London and ended with some kip. On the train from Sheffield after 3 days on the wreck. Woke up from me sleep and chucked some juice down me neck. Tickets please, said the guard, he tried to catch us out. Fuck that, I told myself I'm fucking paying out. Fucked off down the train, and as I drank me juice, I noticed something happened as I pulled it in me mouth. A little square of paper sitting on me tongue. A little square of paper, I should be so young. I gave up taking acid, years ago's the truth. So who put the acid in me fucking juice? In London, a lad had said to me, got really smooth acid just to tan a bill for 3. Now there's a temptation, I thought and got them bought. I said never again, well that's what I thought. 9 AM on Saturday, I'm necking acid trips. This'll get messy and nothing like the twits. Prepare for smooth sailing, floating on the barge. Said the captain of the ship, let's have it fucking large. Sleeping on the train, fuck ticket request. 3 days on the wreck, I really need to get some rest. I gave up taking acid, years ago's the truth. So who put the acid in me fucking juice? Kidnapped a lad from Glasgow with whiskey on the train. So get your arse over here, I know you're not to blame. Someone stuck some acid in me fucking juice. I think it's time to party, let's let it fucking loose. He washed down his whiskey with the trippy juice, and just to make sure I chucked some speed in his mouth. He grabbed a lad from Birmingham, said, come with us, fine sir, we're gonna have a party. He nodded, I concur. Getting off the train, tripping off me bonds. I said never again, never even once. Gave up taking acid, years ago's the truth. So who put the acid in me fucking juice? A little bit of mayhem commenced fairly quick. 3 pints of Centurion, the bouncers fucking pricks. Let up some dude for spitting in their face. Dude, you shouldn't have done that, but put him in his place. Punching shit out of him just isn't self-defense. It's called excessive force. Said fuck this and we went down the road to science. The coolest bar I know. Wibble wobble wonky is how the night did go. A lesson back in school. A little science class. Acid for the fools will put you on your ass. I gave up taking acid, years ago's the truth. So who put the acid in me fucking juice? The alcohol was kicking in, best get a few more pints. Don't want to let the acid send us out our minds. We grabbed ourselves some buddies, Stewie, Skev and Pants. Happy birthday sang us all as Mickey did a dance. All on the lash since Friday, exactly the same boat. I said, let's fucking have it, let's set the ship afloat. Off up to the 4th, met a lovely girl called Jess. Shocked that she spoke to us, I was such a fucking mess. In the 4th, on the third day of the trip. Been partying since Friday, let's let it fucking rip. I gave up taking acid, years ago's the truth. So who put the acid in me fucking juice? Back down to science for cocktails in the bar. And miracles happen just for lust for I can't remember much by this stage in the game. Fucking hell man, only just had me name. Onwards onto Tokyo and more debauched mayhem. This was turning out to be quite a journey, Unfortunately, poor Sam had no ID to show. Under 25s and strict, so in showed in the door. Now it gets a little messy, yarring in my head, and I can't quite remember what was done and said. I gave up taking acid, years ago's the truth. So who put the acid in me fucking juice? It sounds really crazy and could be in me head, but this is how it went, and this is what was said. This Geordie Shore reject had put it in my group, telling Jess the lovely lass all this fucking poop. I said, stop talking to me bird, you fucking orange cunt. I gave him such an evil stare, the scrawny little runt, a suitable reply to which he couldn't think. So that's when he started to kick up quite a stink. He waved his arms and legs like a monkey in a tree. I said, what's your fucking problem? Can't you fucking see the love of me life you're trying to steal away? Go and get your own bird, unless you're fucking gay. He raised his voice and shoulders and asked me out to fight. I said, listen motherfucker, you're such a fucking plate. Dick waving competition, I'll get me cock out now. What a size is up, then the moon jumped the cow. The bar had just erupted, laughter, fits and giggles at the whole concept and the way me winky wiggled. I knocked the fucker clean out with this sucker punch. The psychological trauma had him out at fucking lunch. You can't get up from there, knocked out flat like that. His ego took a beating, and that was really that. Then Jess said, marry me, which I could not believe. But a tap on the shoulder, and Ames said, time to leave. It all went mad in Tokyo, but I could have made it up. By this point in the weekend, I was feeling pretty rough. I gave up taking acid, years ago's the truth. So who put the acid in me fucking juice? Back to science once again, the 3rd time on that eve. Don't ask me what time it was, I had too much fucking peeve. The speed was wearing off, and so was all the acid. Sleep was closing in on poor old DJ Id. It was quite an adventure, those 3 days on the wreck, with DJ Id on tour and acid down his neck. The barman called a cab and somehow got us in. Fast asleep by then, remember not a thing. Lads and lasses, listen up, responsibilities. Don't put acid in me juice, no listen really please. I gave up taking acid, years ago's the truth. So who put the acid in me fucking juice?
This is a sort of fairy tale. This is Schneewittchen and the universe. Gaia, peeling its orbit, purling apple round, tempts her to come, sleep, to land her giant's head, seek nestle space in poison cones, forest. She finds it easier to stand, length of hair untattered, big legs gracing clouds softly floating at her crotch. She remembers the first time, Dr. White's cotton breeze block, the feeling of learning to walk around them. Woman now, took precious in her secret and afraid of stains, Snow White. Rose red. She foots the lithosphere, mountains crumb beneath her heels. She wonders at her hugeness. Must be all this sun, this rain, this good moist ground. Smiling up the ozone, the dread of it in her lungs. She is full, swollen fat on gobbled light. See her run, ocean's mere becks to her ham hocks. Her spatters hit the sea, congealing air make land. I have bled you islands. Bits of fallen womb, worlds not born of the hands of man with their metal minds and atom bombs, born of my bones, flesh of my flesh. There is nothing here that was not brought in a woman's blood. The cool of the icebergs, she lies large in the glassy coffin of the poles. My own beloved Mar, dreaming a girl of soot and pale and blushes. She makes a magic mirror of the halos round the moon, pulls faces, makes a moo of berry lips. Who is the fairest of them all? The hunter, written in the stars, Ganymede waiting to fill her cup. Hook a knot, slip a loop, the thousand hours it's took to crochet up the heavens. The galaxy stitched in spectrum smoke, the sparkled pearl of Hydra, sequin sticks. Thank you.
Hello. I just remembered actually the last time I did a gig here, I came on the stage and I put my pint down on the table as I came on, and I spent the next 10 minutes doing my set while watching the bloke at the table slowly lean across, grab my pint and drink it, and put it back. And I've just realised I've left it in front of Alex, so the same thing may happen again. I'm John. I've started doing stand-up again after a while. This is my first gig after a few months break, and I was going to write some new material, but it's been 3 or 4 months. I haven't had time, so I'm just going to do the same old shit, but I don't think anyone's going to notice. So who's looking forward to Christmas? Actually, so it's a bit confusing. I thought it was Christmas this week because I got my ultimate Christmas present, which was Jeremy Clarkson getting sacked. It was odd actually when David Cameron came out in support of Clarkson. So that seems to be the Prime Minister seems to be saying it was okay for you to hit your employees, punch your employees in the face, and I just thought there's no reason that can ever be justified. And then I thought Nick Clegg works for him, and I had to say I'm now torn. So yes, my name's John. I live on my own. Not saying I'm a lonely person. I spend a lot of time watching TV. The other week I sat and I started watching the first episode of the new series of Britain's Biggest Loser. It was 15 minutes till I realised I'd not actually turned the TV on, I was just staring at my reflection on the screen. It's I live on my own. I came out of a long relationship. It's one of these things where maybe I tried to keep the relationship going on a bit longer than it should have done. I tried to spice it up a little bit towards the end. I said to my girlfriend, why not try some sexy roleplay in the bedroom? And she was up for that, and she opened the door in her sexy policewoman's outfit. And I have to say, the look of disappointment on her face when I was laid on bed with some 20-sided dice and a copy of Dungeons and Dragons was something to behold. But I'm dating again. It's difficult. I tried casual dating, but when you get to my age, when you get to sort of your mid-30s, you want everything to be a relationship. You don't want casually date. You've got to think this is the one. Every time you go on a date, you're thinking, is this the rest of my life? And I'm taking that to extremes a little bit, to be honest. I'm thinking that when I'm watching porn now. I'm still watching new porn. I'm thinking, she's got a nice smile. I wonder if my mum will like her. It's difficult though. So also when you get to my age, you realise that most of the people that are my age and are still single, they're a little bit weird, they're probably a little bit crazy, or they've got a lot of baggage, or there's something wrong with them, which is basically why no women will touch me, because they realise the same thing. The other thing about me is I'm from Yorkshire. Paul, yes. I moved up to Newcastle, and I realised Newcastle's very different to Yorkshire. There's a lot of differences, even things like swearing. Something that is really just an everyday word in Leeds is surprisingly offensive up here, like the C word. I use the C word all the time in York, so it's daft C, this, or you C, you stupid C. My friend Gav is Fat C Gav, that's his name, that's fine, it's not offensive at all. You come up to Newcastle and you call one person a cunt, and apparently you've ruined the wedding. Right, that's me. My name's been John. I'm going to go stand in the corner and think about what I've just done. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hello. I don't know how many of you saw the cosmic phenomenon that took place last Friday, but I'm sure some of you would have enjoyed it. Some of you may have been slightly disappointed. You may have chosen different ways of watching it. Some of you may have even watched it on television with a computer-generated image. But I've had a lifetime relationship with that particular phenomenon, which started when I was 12 years old, when I read a particular book which featured an eclipse of the sun. So I'd like to relive that relationship with you tonight. When I heard that it had been decided to have a solar eclipse here this year, I began having pangs and convulsions of excitement I hardly could bear. In King Solomon's Mines, Rider Haggard allows an event such as this to intrude on the lives of the novel's three heroes, Alan Quatermain, Curtis and Good. As a boy, I'd envisaged the pleasure to experience an eclipse of the sun, but my father took pains to convince me in this part of the world it's not done. So for years without number I had to accept that this vision I'd e'er be denied, unless I was willing to fly to vantage points on the world's other side. But in 1999, which is not that long since, all predictions were that we would share a phenomenal view lacking precedent, assuming the weather stayed fair. Even then, there were those who decided that these isles weren't the perfect arena, so they took themselves off to some far foreign fields where the grass, it seems, always is greener. Some things astronomical are heralded with hype, and some others hardly get a mention. And whichever your favourites happen to be, to decry them is not my intention. But if you'd like to see something hide heaven's eye, we have clouds do it daily for free. And given the choice of a black or silver moon, I know which one I'd rather see. And every evening when the sun seems to settle, sometimes it's so startlingly shaded. But because it recurs every 24 hours, our reactions very soon become jaded. If it's not paradox, then it's self-contradiction to see something live on the telly, just like fresh orange juice that comes out of a can, or the home-baked food straight from the deli. As a spectacle, it never succeeded in inspiring either rapture or art. I would much rather hear Bonnie Tyler singing Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Many of you will have heard this a dozen times before, but it just seems fitting to do it tonight. I've done it in numerous places around the northeast, in bus stations, once at Old Eldon Square, where all the young emo kids hang around on a Saturday afternoon, and maybe you'll like it better than they did. Death Street is where the vampire kids meet. See them in pan-stick, black lip gloss, high heels, charcoal eyes, ragged fishnet thighs, and melancholic sighs. It's Death Street, but the goths are alright. It's Death Street, don't try to pick a fight, just stagger on back to the big market and drain your favourite swill. These kids are all bat theatrics and will soon be flapping wings above the coast of Whitby, where the townsfolk appreciate the macabre. It's Death Street, snake bite and black leather, crushed velvet, purple, red and silver, spider webs and spikes, rock boots and bloodshot eyes. The dead girls and boys are back in town. Why would you crawl by day when you can fly by night? These princes of darkness, queen vampires, disciples, ghosting over cracked pavements. The sky is a belly of bruised excess, about to burst and christen these killer kids. They look out of this world, cut down, dug up and plugged into the mains. Don't give them grief because you're too square to try something different with your thinning hair. Don't get all homophobic on the boy with mascara and pierced nipple exposed. He wouldn't give you a second glance. Why are you so threatened by this cabaret of the damned? It's a beautiful carnival of the grotesque, and it beats Sky Sports Premier League to the Belfry any night of the week. Coming back in the Cadillac, black of course, we marvel at the vitality of the vampires. We're going to hire them for our next corporate function. They're the little dark diamonds of Death Street. Give them a smile and they'll show you their fangs. Go on, don't you wish you had the guts to look like Halloween 365 days a year too? Thanks very much for listening.